This is a water bottle. This is filament I made with it. Stick around to see the full process. The first thing you'll need to do is to clean the water bottle. This is a custom valve I made using a regular bottle cap and a tire valve. It lets me pressurize the bottle and remove all the grooves. That step is essential to get consistent strips and make sure the cutter works properly. The smoother the strip, the better the filament. After getting the bottle to 25 psi, it is ready for being heated in the stove. Be very careful in this step because the bottle can explode due to too much pressure inside. After all those steps, you should have your bottles rounded and ready to remove the glue residue that the labels leave. Now we are at one of the most important steps, cutting the bottles into strips. I've already cleaned off all the labels and glue. Now it's all about precision. I actually built my own little database to track my results. And yeah, I made some mistakes. Turns out, different bottles behave differently, depending even brand to brand and country to country. Here on the time lapse you can see I'm struggling a bit more with this bottle than the others. It's because it's much thicker. Thicker bottles tend to want to be extruded slower and with more heat. Before we start transforming the filament, there is one more important step. We need to cut the tip of the strip into a sharp V shape. This step is crucial because the strip has to pass through the nozzle. We will be pulling the nozzle manually with pliers from the other side, and if we don't cut it properly, it just won't go through. For the pulling process, I'm using the Recreator3D. I have an MK5 and an MK6. Both machines are designed by Josh from the Recreator3D project. Massive shout out to them and for the community, which is one of the best community I've ever been. Stick around because I will show you my settings for Orca Slicer. Alright, the filament is loaded and the extrusion is running smoothly. Now we wait. When the strip reaches the end of the filament, just be careful during the final part. Because of the tension, the filament tends to snap violently, as you can see here. Be very careful because it can hurt you, especially in the eyes. After unwinding, you have your own recycled filament. I highly suggest you to try it because PET is highly hygroscopic, so it absorbs water very quick. Here you can see all my settings, the quality, strength and speed. PET likes to be printed very slow. Speed is the most important one and the one you should mess with. The others you will mess depending on the model. One thing you have to mess with is the flow ratio, depending on how hollow your filament is. I like to print my PET at 285. Make sure to do your own PA tests and retractions. Retractions play a very important role. One super important setting when printing with PET is the retraction value, the speed and the length. If your retraction isn't dialed in properly, you risk crystallization inside the hot end. That basically means you're getting a clog. So make sure you are using a good retraction distance and take your time for tuning it. That's all for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like and bye.